Hello and welcome to The Frame, an initiative of Access Framingham. We start this week with an update on staffing at the newly renovated Mary Dennison Park, as Mayor Charlie Sisitsky's administration outlined a proposal to add 10 full-time employees to maintain the $40 million space that's set to open soon. Groundbreaking at the site took place back in 2024. Now the park will feature amenities such as a synthetic turf field, a splash pad, and more than 100 parking spaces. Local leaders have recently discussed adding additional salaries to the FY27 budget for upkeep at the renovated park. Parks and Rec leaders initially requested the addition of 6 workers. During the City Council Finance Subcommittee's meeting on Tuesday, July 28th, however, Framingham's Chief Financial Officer Brian Turbott outlined a plan to add 4 working supervisors alongside 6 laborer roles for around $720,000 this fiscal year should they begin in September. Sisitsky's administration proposed a few different avenues to cover the costs, such as raising the local tax levy rate from 3.5% to about 3 3/4%, utilizing state funding initially allocated for snow and ice management, and dipping into the city's seasonal lifeguard fund. Acting Parks and Rec Director Allison Elliott explained this week that local officials have to consider busy times for park visitors and slower periods for repairs and maintenance when thinking about who to hire for upkeep at Mary Dennison. At-large City Council member George King, however, instantly called the latest pitch quote-unquote stunning, expressing his confusion about how the proposal went from 6 added roles to 10.
When we looked at those different models of how many staff we would propose, it's highly reliant on how many days a week we want to be open and how many hours a day we want to be open.
This is ridiculous. That's all I can say. I cannot believe this is brought forward. To dedicate 10 people to one park, this is like Disneyland.
Mayor Sisitsky said other staffing plans with fewer employees and additional responsibilities across the city can be considered, as the Finance Subcommittee is set to discuss the topic again on August 11th. Elliott mentioned this week that the Parks and Rec team is hoping to open Mary Dennison in either September or October. Residents in Framingham and across Middlesex County who are voting in the Democratic Party's primary elections in a few weeks will have a choice to make between a pair of candidates for District Attorney. Incumbent Middlesex DA Marian Ryan has held the position since 2013, but she's now facing a primary challenge from a former member of the office, David Solet. He served as the chief of the DA office's cold case homicide unit from 2019 through last September, when he announced his resignation prior to launching his campaign for office. The Republican primary ballot does not feature a candidate for this seat, so the race between Ryan and Solet is a big one that should effectively determine who the DA will be. We interviewed both candidates to speak with us at our studio leading up to the primary election. Ryan pointed to her experience and vouched for her ability to be a voice for the entire county, while Solet contends that he would be able to act on the level and apolitically if he's elected. Here is a clip of both candidates outlining their case for the role of District Attorney.
Those are things that people have seen across my tenure in this county. I think when you look at that, and I say this very humbly, you see a record of what has improved not just their lives, but the lives of their community.
I would love for them to know that the person that led the cold case homicide unit effectively is running to reset the office, to bring us in a direction that is more willing to speak boldly and honestly and to lead from principle.
Primary election day is Tuesday, September 1st. The final day to register to vote in the primary is Saturday, August 22nd. Tuesday, August 25th at 5 p.m. is the last day to apply for a vote-by-mail ballot, and early voting is scheduled to run from the 22nd through the 28th of August. More details on voter registration can be found on the Secretary of the Commonwealth's website, www.sec.state.ma. Those full interviews with Marian Ryan and David Solet, along with more details on all of our top stories, can be found on our website, www.theframe.news. Full written articles, feature pieces we've completed across the city, and a community calendar filled with upcoming events are all available there as well. Be sure that you're subscribed to our email newsletter too, so that you're always up to date with Framingham News in Focus. The design of the Chris Walsh Memorial Trail in Framingham could be set to benefit from over $400,000 in Community Preservation Act funding. The trail, named after the late state representative, is proposed to be built within the Farm Pond area, as it could connect downtown Framingham and the local commuter rail stop with Farm Pond and Cushing Memorial Parks. The CPC noted that with this latest request, the project's total cost is expected to be around $3.5 million. The city's Parks and Rec department applied for the extra money outside of the CPC's regular cycle in order to secure a federal grant that requires a local match. During this week's City Council Finance Subcommittee meeting, CPC Chair Tom Mahoney explained that to do so, this latest $410,000 request has to be approved by the end of September.
This was short-circuited because there's a deadline of the local match with the federal government that so they can release the funds needs the local match, and this is the local match that the city is looking for.
The Finance Subcommittee moved for a favorable action for this CPA request, as a public hearing on the matter will be held on Monday, August 3rd. Later next month, the full City Council could grant their final approval for the dollars to benefit the trail's design. The pilot program that saw Framingham become the home of a first-of-its-kind remote airport terminal for Logan International in Boston is being extended into March. The facility along Flutie Pass opened at the start of June. For $9, Delta and JetBlue passengers can go through the security process in Framingham before hopping aboard a secure bus that takes them to their terminal beyond Logan's security stations. Since its opening, the Massachusetts Port Authority reports that over 10,000 passengers have now used the service, as officials have garnered feedback to work towards improving the pilot program. In a statement, Massport CEO Rich Davies said, quote, "The passenger feedback we get from those who have taken this service is integral to the future of the program, and we thank those passengers for trying it out." The This Is Your Plaza Festival will be taking place in just a few weeks here in Framingham. On August 15th and 16th, residents are invited to Nevins Hall at the Memorial Building for the multicultural celebration hosted by the city alongside the Metropolitan Area Planning Council. The building is meant to resemble public squares across the globe, as planners say that input collected during the weekend will help identify how Framingham can expand their future plans and goals for public art and culture. The free event will feature local vendors, games, music, art installations, crafts, and more that Saturday and Sunday. This Is Your Plaza will run from 1 to 5 p.m. on both of those days. As always, more of our news coverage is available on our social media pages. Follow us on Instagram at @FrameNews_ and search for The Frame on Facebook. Also, subscribe to Access Framingham's channel on YouTube and hit the bell icon to be notified whenever new content is uploaded there. You can listen to or watch full episodes of The Frame on Spotify as well. We encourage you to follow us there. That will do it for this week's Framingham News in Focus. On behalf of our entire team here at The Frame, thanks for joining us. My name is Brendan Fitzpatrick. We'll talk to you next week. Take care.